Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Major Manufacturing DT-200 Door Tote. I have one right here in this box, and this is the first time I've seen this door carrier from Major. I have seen many others. I've made my own. I can attest to the wisdom of having such a tool. I suppose when you are young and foolish, you will try to carry doors by yourself. And not that you can't do it or it's something that you have to have help with. The truth of the matter is when you get to a job site and you have finished walls and tight corners, you should not be trying to carry a door through those areas. So a door tote is the way to go. And obviously, it would render what it would normally be a two-person job, or just if we use the vernacular two-man job, to a one-man job. So we've got some peanuts in here. We're going to see if we can get that all moved down to the bottom. By the way, this box weighs 18.4 pounds, so the item that's in here is not light. And I'm going to say that this door tote is the majority of all that weight. And this thing seems to be very well made. Very, very well made. It does not feel like there's anything else in the box. Oh yeah, this is one heck of a tool. Okay, these are actually air-filled tires. I'm using this back end here as a handle to just hold it so it doesn't tip forward on us. Obviously going to be meant for 1 3/4 thick doors. Let's test that though. Let's take a look and see what size that is. Yeah, you wouldn't want to try to stuff anything really thicker than 1 3/4 down in there. I mean, maybe 2 inch. You know, it's going to do doors. So an 1 3/4 thick solid core door, figure about 6 pounds per foot. You know, if you get up to a 14 gauge steel stiffened door that's 1 7/8, that's going to be epically heavy. There's really no door, except maybe a hollow core door, that you should attempt to carry by yourself. So obviously what happens with a door carrier is that it will rest on the foot down here on the floor. You're going to take that door and you're going to tip it down into the opening. At that point, you're going to hold the door up so either end doesn't bash into the floor, and you can lead with the door tipping forward. It will have, of course, this leg down there that will make contact with the floor when you need it to. And you'll be able to maneuver this pretty effectively through hallways, through spaces, or when you really just have a distance. If you make deliveries to, or you are a contractor who works in indoor shopping malls, you know, the nearest dock to you might be hundreds of yards away, where you need to get the door to, or you might be doing a high-rise, and you need to get the door off the dock to the elevator, which hopefully is large enough to take the door, may not be, and then away you go. So having to carry it is just nonsense. Not when there are so many good tools. I'm very impressed with this build quality. Obviously, it's going to be made of steel. The sort of short pile carpet that's in here, I can tell you, I don't see any areas where the adhesive is not clearly and cleanly holding it in. Looks like it's very well manufactured. Okay, the steel spindle that's down here, overall size, about 17 inch on the outside, The width of the wheels alone are 3" and they have about a 9 3/4" diameter. So this is large. 9 3/4, about 17 outside to outside. Okay. Pin there should you ever need to repair the tire. Load rating 300 pounds. I don't see a PSI rating on here. I'm sure it must say. Okay, it doesn't. Not that I can see. A couple of brackets that are welded down into the bottom. Really nice. This comes right out of the box, ready to use. Now, the bottom line is door tools. Tools in general, whether it be for contractors who are working on, doing doors and frames and things of that nature, or you're a locksmith who has to buy specialized tools. This is obviously a specialized tool. They're expensive, and that's the bottom line. And sometimes you might say, well, I'm not paying that much money to do that. You're right. There's no doubt that they're expensive. The issue becomes is when you're going to ask someone else to do it. If you're a foreman, an owner, if you are a manager, and you put other people in charge of doing the work, if you're creating the environment by which the work cannot be truly done safely, there's a problem there. This tool is going to keep someone from seriously harming themselves and damaging property of others, is the bottom line. Now, there's a link below this video to the cut sheet, which says DT200 Door Tote. You know what, let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at it. Let's just do another quick visual review of the tool, because I don't think I've really showed it as much as I would have liked to. This thing is ready to work. There's no doubt about that. You get an idea of how substantial it is. It's almost as long as my forearm, or wide as my forearm. Let's switch to the screen view and take a look at some supporting documentation. Now here's the cut sheet that we mentioned earlier that is linked to down below this video. The DT200 Door Tote. Save time, money, and accidents by moving doors with the ease of our Door Tote. Door Tote will accommodate doors up to 1 3/4, equipped with pneumatic wheels for easy mobility, carpet lined to protect door, small but mighty. That is an understatement. This is the pick the insert name of superhero here into the sentence. Small but mighty. This is not a minor piece of equipment. Will easily store in a service vehicle. Absolutely. Door lifter is also on this page. That's awfully nice when you are trying to do something alone, which I've done countless times. Later in my life, I now don't recommend it, but nonetheless, this DT100, which I don't have a video at this time, is probably going to be something you'll need to look into, because lots of elevators are really not going to permit, freight elevators, may not give you enough room to move this in. And a lot of those malls with those really narrow back of house corridors can be tricky as well. This allows you to require less turning room, obviously, than this will. So it's unusual to sell this, that's for sure. We've sold lots of two-wheeled door carts like this one. Okay. Now, there is also a link below this video to the manufacturer's page, and I want to show you where the major manufacturing link is. It's literally below the video if you're in our site, and it will take you to this page, the major manufacturing product catalog. This is full of aids when it comes to installing material, In the solar system of the locksmith, but then in the commercial hardware universe in general, a tremendous quantity of quite unique solutions have been thought up and included in this catalog. I've sold this key block. This is a gizmo that goes over a lever to give key control, whether or not someone can access that lever or that knob. Key traps. This basically is a unit that will require, well, depending on how they're used. If you needed to gain access to a key that is specific, you insert your key into the key trap. Your key is kept retained until you insert the original key that you've removed, forcing you to custody of one key at a time. There are lots of applications where that makes sense. Door guards here, just latch protector, reinforcing sort of hardware. A variety of different installation aids for locksmiths. Door armor, you want to protect that knob from being used. You might have a cross corridor where you don't want your trim to be damaged, or you might have a gate where you want someone to be prevented from reaching in. This may work for that application as well. More door guards. They have a comprehensive offering of cylinder collars, tapered cylinder collars, armored collars for cylinders. There is in particular an item that I'd like to bring to your attention. Locksmithing aids. They have springs and shims. I don't think of major for having locksmithing tools specifically, but they do. They do have a line of that material. Now, I own one of their screw assortment kits. It's nice to have. It's Friday. It's late. You need the right screw. It's probably in there. And that's why I have that. Now, the cylinder extensions is what I was scrolling through to get to. They, I should say, has a line of machined brass items that will allow you to extend a mortise cylinder. So let's say that we're talking about a typical mortise cylinder. Bear with me. You have a typical mortise cylinder here, okay? And the 7205 by Kaba Ilko is 1.25 inches. Well, let's say that you need 2.25 inches. Why would you need 2.25 inches? Well, you have an obtusely thick door, which is possible, or you have a lock that's not centered in a very thick door. For whatever reason, you need a longer cylinder than what you can get your hands on quickly. I can take the stock cylinders, generally 1 inch, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, even longer, and I can extend them 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, and 1.25 inch extensions by using their template fixture, which will clamp onto the back of your cylinder, clamps into it, and then it allows you to position your drill bit and your tap, obviously, so that you can then take these extensions and screw the extension with the included machine screws down into the back of your mortise cylinder. I've done it a number of times with total success, and what's nice about it is you can do it quickly. You can, this doesn't take very long to do. You do want to be patient and do it so that you, have a cylinder that is correct, even, in line. It looks like it's factory original, but you will be able to very successfully extend your cylinders, or I should say, we will be able to happily extend your cylinders for you. Now, it's not going to work with all cylinders, and they have a compatibility chart that's here, because you're going to need the drive cam. So the drive cam needs to work onto the back of the existing cylinder. Then the plug rides through the hole. This feature here secures up, down in here, I should say, I'm sorry, I'm saying this backwards. This rides down into the hole in your extension. Then the what they call the, well, I don't know what this extender portion is called. That will ride down through the hole. This will nest into the drive cam, and then you're going to attach your cam to the back of this. Now, they have different drive cams depending on the construction of the cylinder. You're not going to have the ability to extend a lot of different cylinders that are just simply proprietary. I've never tried to do an Abloy ProTech mortise cylinder, although I have one here. I've never tried to extend one, meaning I don't know if their design has changed. I would imagine that it hasn't, but it could have. Schlage is notorious for changing their design, and I would say that, you know, for me, it's not always for the better, but you're going to find some Schlage cylinders that you can't extend because they're quite proprietary in the way that they put those together, because they do have their own modular system of extending cylinders, and plus they probably want to sell you extended cylinders. But in my experience, if you can make a Kaba Ilko cylinder work, you're going to get that MCE D1 drive cam. You're going to get whatever extension that you require, or stacking them together, you can make really long cylinders. Should you buy the template guide? Is it possible for you to mark and drill those holes in the right location? Absolutely. I'm quite positive that it is. If you had a drill press and everything was fixtured and nothing moved and your initial spotting was correct, yes, you certainly could. If you're going to try to freehand it, I'm going to suggest against that, because this bolt that runs down through the extension into the hole that you've drilled and tapped in the back of the mortise cylinder, it needs to be on. It needs to be spot on. Otherwise, the extension's not going to sit right on the back of the mortise cylinder, and the drive cam and this plug are not going to turn correctly when you rotate the key, because they're going to be binding on the inside of the hole. So you need to be pretty accurate. It's not an inexpensive tool, but if you bump into the need for quick, longer mortise cylinders, I have this tool because I have clients who need them quickly, and I keep a small smattering of strategic longer lengths because, well, if I needed to do a certain type of length, I can, you know, with an even and an odd, I can get to longer lengths if I needed to combine them, but they're very simple to keep in stock. Great option when you need to do exactly what that is. Okay, that's what it looks like when it's done. Just like that. Okay, so right there, that's probably a 2 1/4 inch length cylinder. Easy to do. Cylinder accessories, and I won't scroll really through the rest of the catalog per se, but if you're looking for very smart, ingenious solutions to a lot of problems when it comes to doors and their preparations for hardware, you're going to want to at least be familiar with Major, where to look at the catalog, and see if they have the answer for you. They're going to have things that luckily are still available in the marketplace. It seems like every 5 years or so, another locksmithing company discontinues operations, and thankfully that's not the case here. Let's wrap up this video on camera. So the DT200 is by no means an inexpensive tool. However, should you buy it? Yeah, if you are a locksmith, if you are someone, a service technician that generally moves alone, I couldn't see you not having one. The other reason is this thing's going to last years and years and years and years and years and years. It's easy to break down that cost if you're thinking of 2 decades. Okay, so it's not that expensive in that regard. Very great quality. I wouldn't hesitate to consider this. If you're going to do a job, you know, there's 2 opinions. I talk to a lot of mechanics and people who do sorts of service work, and they will only invest in the best of tools because it's their livelihood. And really, with a Door Tote, you don't want to hurt yourself. That a better version of you works smarter rather than stronger, and you don't want to damage property. That's problematic. So anyway, if there's any questions on the DT200 door carrier or Door Tote or any other Major manufacturing product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.